Hi everyone, Leslie Davenport here from Spark Motion Body Studio. Today I'm going to go through a sequence with you that is all about hips, different movements through the hips, and work on a sequence of recommended exercises for preparation for hip replacement surgery. The inspiration of this message was that I was assisting a client get ready for their hip replacement this spring. And many of the movements that are suggested from physical therapists are involved in the type of exercise that we teach here. So if you are new to our practice, then we teach lessons in the Pilates method, the gyrotonic expansion system, and gyrokinesis method. And as I reviewed the preparatory work with my client, they remarked on, wow, how similar things are. All of the work is involved, but how different it is to approach the exercises from the perspective of whole body integration. And that is a part of everything we do here in their studio, is that quality movement is quality. Quality movement is balanced across the joints and does not typically put us in pain, and also does not overuse or wear down something. So that's the inspiration of our message today. All right. So in working with this client, I happened to find that there were more people who could benefit. And so that's really just why we thought we'd make it a client resource. All right, so these all feel really great. The thing that I need you to know about it is I am not a physical therapist and I am not an orthopedic doctor. Your orthopedist will determine if you need a hip replacement, and a physical therapist helps get you set post-surgery, right? Post-surgery, they will go through a therapeutic process with you that you know when is the right time to begin doing mobility and strength work. That's what starts to bring, we are the bridge between, along your healing process after a surgery. You want to use the studio and these resources to go full distance in your regain, basically. Okay. This is the maintenance of not needing of the hip replacement being taken care of, really. And scar tissue is challenging if you don't move well with quality. Scar tissue can be a real detrimental factor in range of motion. And if someone never learns how to open the front of the hip joint, for example, that really has strong postural effects, okay, on your entire spine, really. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into it. The series will have some lying down work, and there'll be some seated movements, and there'll be some standing. Okay, so what you're going to want to gather is you're going to want to have a stool, comfortable height. I'm going to show this on the floor mat, so you don't think that, you don't feel that you have to have something fancy to do it. And I'm also going to use a bolster. If you don't have a bolster here, a soft bolster is also really great, or a very thick towel, like a thick bath towel. All right, so away we go. All right, so hips. We're going to start in a lying down position because we want to get into comfortable, healthy, natural spine. Okay. So if you can, go ahead and bend your knee joints so that your hip is bent a little bit. Then starting out like this helps you get your spine and pelvis a little bit more even. Okay. So just rest your hands around your front ribs. Take a moment. Let gravity take your back muscles into the ground. Look for kind of relaxing in them, the back muscles. And then just intentionally create length from the top of the head through the torso all the way through the both hips. Okay, we want both sits bones to be going towards the floor, and here the back of my calf. The thigh bone goes up, the shin bone goes down, and I have my ankle a little bit bent with all 10 toes and on the ground and my foot even on the floor. All right. So getting into a healthy natural spine, most of these movements are not going to be spinal articulations, but we want to use our abdominal wall here, gathering enough of the low abdominals that I am equally pressing into the very middle back of both of my sides of my sacrum. The back ribs need to rest, and then my shoulders and the crown of my head. Okay, so I have my natural arches of my back, really. All right, so we're going to unfold the hip. So I just want to unfold my front hip joint. We're talking about this one. I'm going to unfold each of them. And I'm going to keep my back really heavy and rooted. So I do need to use my abdominals to a certain degree. Okay, now expressing through my feet, I'm going to straighten through my legs and feet, and then I'm going to pull my body forward and extend my ankle. It's plantar flexion or pointed feet. And then I flex and I point and I flex and I point. So I'm moving around my ankle joint, but this is going to shift my weight into more of a towards my foot. And then when I flex, the body kind of pulls back towards my head. So you can see me doing this little back and forward type of shifting my body weight. All right, so when I was dancing professionally, we used to do this quickly, right? We called it heel rocking. I'm looking to stay connected between my foot and my sits bone, and of course my hips and my head, and I just let my body move. All right, that's what it looks like if it's a little bit more quick with rhythm. Of course, slowing it down. If your hip, right, if you are a candidate for hip replacement, you might have pain in the hip. So we just want to be careful that we're not asking it to move bigger than it's ready to. Okay, so next I'm going to settle in with my legs long like this. I'm going to go ahead and check your form. Back relaxed, really broad through the ribs. Weight in the center back of both hips, not the top back hips, the center back of the hips. Natural arch here. Okay, so it's a low abdominal connect. Draw the muscles in. And then I take my two hands on my hip bones and I'm going to spread open the front of my hip bones. And I'm going to trace this like band of muscle all the way around my hips. And I'm going to wrap my glutes towards each other. So we call it wrapping in the studio. I'm going to wrap around, hold for 3 or 4 seconds, and then I'm going to relax my effort. Okay, so low abdominals in, right across. For me, it's across my C-section surgery, so it feels really helpful across that scar tissue. I'm going to pull the front of my hip points open a little more broad, but right here in the side of my hip, I'm going to gather these muscles up and I'm going to wrap around my glutes. So I'm going to squeeze into my glutes. I'm going to hold the contraction of the muscle 3 or 4 seconds and then release. Okay, do it 3 more times. Exhale. Spread open the front of the pelvis so it feels very flat, very even right side, wrapping into the glutes. And then you release. Good. Last time, the game, if you're a little more experienced, the game is that once you wrap around your glutes, I don't want to tighten my back muscles. So I'm really trying to kind of focus the work across the band of my pelvis, mid hip, just a little lower than my hip crest here. Really including the side of my hip though is great on this one. And then I release. Awesome. Now open the feet away from one another so that maybe 2 foot distance apart. And I'm going to slide on the ground and bring my legs in. I'm going to slide and open them up. slide, bringing them in and open them up. I do not want to use a lot of muscular force and like, I don't want this to be a very dynamically active motion or exercise. I want a little more passive approach because I'm just going to move my bones and joints. Again, good healthy form, natural healthy spine, all the basics here. All right, awesome, good. So we're going to need to grab our bolster or your big towel. Okay, have it close through and sneak this right underneath your hips. Okay, and walk your thigh out so you can tell that your torso is doing healthy natural curves, but for me the roller is right against, I don't want it too high on my thigh bone, my femur bone. I want it around the middle of my femur bone. Okay, so my knees are not that bent or straight here. I'm kind of like a half knee, really. Okay, so you can just kind of check that. Just pick up your heels without doing a bunch of knee extension in it, and just kind of check that the weight of the legs feels even to you and it feels like at a good angle for the pelvis. Okay, so we're going to use our wrap around, motion we did. We'll breathe. And then I'm going to create a healthy connect in my low abdominal wall. Feels like firm and flat in the front of the hips, across my hips. And then I want to do that nice, like, pull my belt, gather and scoop up a little on the outside. I'm going to wrap around into the back of my pelvis so I feel like I make a real belt. Okay, squeezing my bum just a little bit, squeezing the gluteals just a little bit. All right, keep your back grounded, everybody, and start to use the contact of the roller and lift the weight of the lower leg so it feels like a quadricep engagement, and then just lower. And we're going to alternate. Now, what I can let you know is alternating legs is not a hard mental activity, but repetition is its own teacher. So if you find, like, if you have a side that is very difficult to feel through it, the kinesthetic awareness that you have on that side maybe feels very vague, right? Which is true in terms, that's very common in terms of injury, or something hasn't been working well for a long time, right? The body can turn off, not turn on. So what I will say is it's really fine to do a handful of repetitions on one side and work to make a healthy, even pattern here. And then the other side. So I use this when we teach orthopedic lessons. Orthopedic lessons are people who have things they need to be taken care of to prevent a re-injury or to build from past injuries. Okay, I actually love how the repetitions feel on my weaker hip. Okay, so that's that. We have that already. We're going to slide our legs to us, kind of fingertip this out of the way. All right, we're good. So, settling in, go ahead and engage your abdominal wall. Feel like the weight of the back pelvis is happy, 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 happy. And make your belt all the way around you. Wrap in your gluteals. It's different than squeezing your butt, guys. It's a wrapping of the musculature across the full pelvis. So that's an integration movement. It's not just a squeeze your butt. Okay, so just having that out there. So you want to stand comfortably on one side, and we're going to send the other leg away from us. I go point and flex and point and bring it in. We're going to show 4 times on one side, and then we'll also do the alternating. Right, we just talked about that. So I am very common in terms of I have a weaker hip and shoulder due to poor body, poor quality of motion, ankle sprains, hip things, it's not always everyday life. You're standing up tall and connected. And so I really do love the repetitions for putting more quality into it. If you are on carpet and you don't slide so well, one of the suggested tips from physical therapists is to put your foot on an object that will slide. So that's kind of neat, right? Maybe it's a like a sliding board, plexiglass is talked about. All right. So alternating. See if again you can use your muscles to initiate the motion in the center of the spine. So here around my waist and in my core, and then I'm sending my leg out. I was looking forward to making this sequence for everybody because it's really awesome how they all feel like they go together. It's a very integrated sequence. Again, very balanced in the hips. All right. So we have one more lying movement here, and these are listed in my client's materials as knee extensions. So I just want to let you know that for our knee to open up, we're looking to support our hips. So I need support against my back, right? I'm going to use my abdominal wall and a healthy back, but I'm not looking to hyperextend my knee. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can show you good quality here and also show you bad quality. That could be perhaps more helpful. So if I go out and if I flex the heel of my foot, I want my glutes wrapped around the back of my hip, and I want to feel like, the weight in my hips is like right in the middle of the joint. But I'm going to need to tighten the top of my quad. I need to engage the top of my leg and work to stretch open the back of my knee. You can see me keeping all those little form checks we've already done today. Okay, but tightening my quad while engaging my gluteals is going to make my thigh feel really strong. And then my knee, the back of my knee takes a little yawn open. Okay, and then come back through. Do this one over here. So we peel the foot, flex. You have a hard heel and a soft heel, so shift your foot forward a little toes so you're a little more on the soft tissue piece of it. And then squeeze, right? Get the glutes connected. Squeeze the top of the quad, engage the top of the thigh muscle here, and just see if you can stretch into the back of your knee and make the leg feel very firm and connected. If I do a good job like this, I could definitely just bring my leg, right? Which is obviously hip flexion, right? Abdominal wall, but I would feel like my leg is very strong and connected. Okay, so I'm going to show an example of this done poorly because I have those patterns. So I'm going to try to do it without hurting myself. But if you go reaching out long and I miss the gluteal cue and I go foot push down. Here I'm collapsing into my lower spine, my lower back just kind of flattened down. And I can stretch open the back of my knee, but this is kind of mildly working. This is not working so much, and it really feels like a lack of muscle in my thigh, and I feel like a little bit of a calf stretch is all I feel. So that's what I got out of it. I got like a calf stretch. Okay. So this would be not a quality movement here, guys. We're looking to support the pelvis, open the front of the hip joint, but we want to motion, right? There's going to be effort going towards the spine, length going out through the foot, and then yawn open the back of the knee. Okay. So let's do a correct one. I need to kind of like give my body those feedbacks. I'm going to pull my belt, wrap the musculature of my hips around the back. My back is settled, but wow, the arch of my lumbar totally exists here. Okay, I'm going to open the calf muscle through the foot, deepen into the top of my quad, feel like I perk this up, press into the back of my hip and yawn my knee. Wow, so different. Again, is it strong? Oh yeah, now I can go someplace with this leg. Okay, awesome. So let's do the good one out here. Last time, both legs. Relax your back, use support of your back. Push back this way, push away from your legs. Send your feet open. Send the foot away from the head. Wrap the glutes and activate your quads. Whoa, yes, I can feel my imbalance there on that right side. I need a little more hip on the right. Excellent. All right, everybody, turning sideways, use your arms and your shoulder to come on back up. So they look pretty simple, and they are. They're not complex choreography, but the integrated approach to the motion gives you more out of it. And then you're training your body how to reproduce these patterns in daily life. That's the big reason about why we teach motion this way, movement exercise, is that you need those tools if you want to play sports, if you want to, if you are a caregiver of a young family or a family that's getting older, right? These are not only safe, but they're effective, right? To get as much from your body as you can, put it together well. All right, I'm going to say goodbye because this feels lengthy now, and I'm going to go ahead and do another recording for the seated and standing work for hips. Bye.